Hi everybody, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Iskevitz, and I want to start off talking about spring, beginning with the spring equinox. So isn't that beautiful? We got the bluebonnets starting to bloom out there. What exactly starts spring, the spring season officially? Although, it doesn't always coincide with the warmest weather, but what happens is we have what's called the equinox, the vernal equinox, and it occurs exactly at 10:06 p.m. today on Tuesday. What exactly happens exactly at 10:06 p.m.? Well, it's nothing that you'll be able to notice, but it's when we have exactly the same amount of light hitting the northern hemisphere as the southern hemisphere. And because of that, all areas of the earth have the same amount of nighttime, the same amount of daytime, and so the word equinox or equinox is Latin for equal night, and it applies to the day which we have today. It's the instant, in fact, at 10:06, the instant that the sun shines directly on the equator. And from here on out, the sun will get higher and higher in our sky. We'll get more and more intense sunlight coming in, and as a result, we'll gradually get warmer and warmer. It also is 3 months before the first official day of summer, which we call the summer solstice, which will happen the beginning of the fourth week in June. But remember, it doesn't mean that we heat up right away. Think about this. Christmas time, the holiday season, is in winter. Some years we're 80 degrees, some days we're below freezing. So it doesn't always mean that the first day of spring automatically it gets warm, but it definitely is the beginning of the warming. So why do we have these seasons, and what's so special about today? Well, the Earth is tilted with respect to our orbit. So we go around the sun, but we're not flat. If we were spinning exactly in line with the orbit, we wouldn't have any seasons. The weather would just be basically controlled by the difference between the land masses and the oceans. But as it is, we're tilted at exactly 23.5 degrees. And so with that in mind, as we orbit around the sun, we have summertime conditions where our part of the Earth, the northern hemisphere, is tilted toward the sun. And so we get much longer days, we get more intense sunlight, and therefore we get hotter. 3 months later, that's followed by the first day of fall, which is just like today, where we have the equinox, the equal day and equal night. We come back around to December and the first day of winter, where our hemisphere, the northern hemisphere, is pointed now away from the sun, and it's summertime down in Australia and across the southern hemisphere, and we find ourselves here today, where we're just beginning that journey back over toward the summertime season. And this is just the beginning of that. So 12 hours of sunlight today. From here on out, taking us all the way through the first day of summer, our amount of daylight, the length of the day, will get longer and longer and longer. So this exact moment is going to be taking place here just after 10 p.m. tonight, this vernal equinox, where we're not tilted toward the sun or away from the sun. The sun is shining directly on us. So pretty cool stuff. It is really awesome, to kind of think about. We're just like a little speck in this big solar system. It's very cool. All right, well, let's talk about the weather and how that may be reacting to the increasing sunshine. For example, today we're warming up pretty nicely after morning lows that got down into the 30s in some spots and a lot of 40s. Right now at 11:33, 60 degrees. We have a wind blowing in. That E8 means east at 8 miles per hour, so coming in from the east. That's going to eventually pull in more humidity for us, but not yet. 37-degree dew point is still really low, and despite the fact that we have a little haze out there, the visibility is at 10 miles, so no problems with any fog out there or anything like that, although I think you'll notice a little bit of haze out there on the horizon. So 60 in Houston right now, still holding on to some upper 50s in spots, although all these temperatures are going to be on the way upward. This is the time of the day when we tend to warm up here pretty quickly, and as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at most spots in the middle to upper 60s, maybe even 70 in a couple of locations, so it's going to feel pretty good. Texas City is at 60 right now, also 61 over in the Missouri City Sugar Land area. Wind speeds, not really that windy today. Remember yesterday, as we got to the noon show yesterday, the winds were gusting above 30 miles per hour. I think Galveston had a maximum wind gust of 36 miles per hour. Current winds right now in miles per hour, 5, 7, 8, 10. That's about what we're seeing out there. So there's a little bit of a breeze, but it's nothing that you would consider a windy day or a gusty day, and that's because we have high pressure right on top of us. Now, we also have this increasing jet stream. You see this streak of moisture right there. It's actually leading to some rain down to our south. Now, I don't think the rain's going to affect the Houston area today, but beginning tomorrow, there'll be a slightly better chance of us seeing a little bit of that. The water vapor imagery, we keep an eye out for these bright colors, which indicate high levels of humidity in the upper parts of the atmosphere, and so we do have another plume that's going to be headed our way, leading to the increase in rain chances coming up on Thursday. So let me show you the latest run of our computer model here, our futurecast, showing today, this afternoon, cloud cover, the thick cloud cover primarily to our south. We'll have some cirrus clouds, those high clouds on top of us heading into the afternoon. Now I want to pause it tomorrow afternoon. Now look what happens. Start to see some thicker clouds come in, a few stray showers near our coastline, and the beginning of an area of low pressure that's going to roll along our coastline and likely bring us some pretty widespread rain coming up on Thursday. Now, the models are a little mixed as to how much rain we're going to see, but at this point, just be on guard. We may go ahead and upgrade Thursday to a Fox 26 storm alert day. We'll wait for some of the newer models to come in here as we head into the early afternoon. Taking a longer view here as we check out March the 25th through the 29th. Now we're kind of getting into the spring season, and it actually looks wet across much of the country. And generally, when there's wet conditions out to our west, it sends some impulses in our direction too. And so it does look like we're going to be favored for above average rain chances overall for this outlook. And then the temperature outlook actually calls for much colder air off toward the north. They're actually in for a lot more snow across the upper plains and heading into the Midwest, and in general, sort of average to slightly above average temperatures as we head toward the late part of this month. High temperatures today, well, along the coastline, we're going to be around 65 or so for places like Surfside Beach and Galveston Island, about 63 for League City, 67 for Freeport, and heading inland, how about West Columbia? You guys getting up to about 66 degrees today. Farther inland, it is going to get just slightly warmer. Now, right now, as you just saw, we're about 60, so we have a few more hours to warm up as we get toward about 3:34 in the afternoon. We'll most likely make it here into either the middle 60s or the upper 60s. It's interesting here to see the high temperature forecast, for example, for Clear Lake, for LaPorte, those areas, influenced a little bit by this east wind coming in from Galveston Bay. So the water out there is kind of chilly, blows in from the east, and you're 65 with less of an influence from the water, about 3 or 4 degrees warmer for places like Tomball at 68, Spring, Jersey Village, all those spots getting a little bit closer to 70 degrees. Overnight tonight will be cool, but it's not going to be as cold as it was this morning when we had a lot of widespread 40s. Tonight, downtown Houston down around the middle 50s, about 53 for Katy, 54 or so for Spring, and for Aldine, about 54 for Channelview and over to around Pasadena. And then high temperatures tomorrow. Remember, as I just showed you, we are going to be affected by increasing clouds and a slightly better chance for seeing light showers for tomorrow. And so we're not going to get that warm tomorrow. We're looking for about 70 from Channelview and Pasadena down in the city of South Houston. Upper 60s for LaPorte and for Clear Lake, and also upper 60s around Katy and heading back over to around Cypress with a few stray showers around. Now, I did want to show you this, that our allergy levels are on the increase big time. So we just got the new report in from this morning, and we are up not in the heavy category, but in the extreme category for tree pollen. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we're drying out, and that allows a lot more of the pollen that was kicked up by the winds yesterday to sort of stay suspended in the air. So extreme levels of tree pollen today. Tree pollen season, allergy season is in full effect. The sky is just loaded up with oak pollen and lots of others mixed in there too. Also, incidentally, the mold spores are also heavy. Across the state, lots of 50s here right now, but like I said, you know, we are in the process of warming up. We have a disturbance on the way Thursday, the one that I just showed you in our other Futurecast model. This is the GFS computer model, the American model, and it is showing a pretty good chance for some pretty widespread rain coverage going into the day on Thursday. So today looks fine. Tomorrow, a couple of stray showers possible, and then our best rain chance is coming up on Thursday, maybe early Friday. Hope you'll join us for Fox 26 News at noon. It is coming up in just 20 minutes and 12 seconds from now, so stick around. I'll see you then.
heralding that message to make sure not just Floridians know that, but the people that might think